Good evening. I guess I would first of all like to thank the council for the opportunity to address you this evening. As you saw from my letter of intent, at least to propose myself for consideration. I'm interested in taking a more active role in the town. One of the things that I've done is, I have a 7-year-old boy, newer to the town. I've lived in the town for 5 years, but been looking for opportunities to give back and volunteer in whatever roles that I can provide. I know my life has been blessed with a lot that have done that on my behalf, directly or indirectly. In this case, I feel my skill set is probably a very good compliment to the existing commission members. And I welcome your questions. I've been a resident for a little over 5 years, paying taxes in the town for nearly 6. I built a house in town, and like I indicated in my letter, I did a thorough search for where I wanted to live, and then Hooksett is that place, and Hooksett is where I plan to stay. So I have a vested interest in the town. So,
thank you, councilors. Any questions?
Why did you pick the police commission and not some other board or committee in the town?
Well, it was somewhat fortuitous. I mean, I had looked at some of the available positions, some of which were deadline limited by election day. This particular position interests me a little more just because it's a more involved role. I don't run from responsibility. I welcome it. I welcome the challenge. I think in this case, in this particular role, I have a skill set that would bring a lot to the table. I have an engineering background. I'm a detail-oriented guy. Regardless of the situation, though, I feel that I can be impartial. I am relentless at collecting data, and my wife would tell you that I collect a lot of useless data, but in the end, I think all decisions need to be made when making a fair and balanced analysis of all information that's available. So, kind of the key thing. My professional responsibilities. I have a sales role. I manage the Northeast region for the company I work for. Responsible for channel management, project management. So, got my hands around a lot of large and detailed projects. So, in the case of the police commission, I've done a lot of reading of minutes. I've only attended one meeting actually, which was actually a deliberation for Officer DeFina's hearing back in, I want to say it was September or October, but in any event, I've tried to keep myself as informed as possible reading minutes, and I've learned just more. There's a lot of budgetary responsibility, a lot of seems minutes take an awful long time to get approved too. They seem to get edited over and over again, but I think the timing was right, kind of more than anything. In my family, I have a couple of uncles that were in the New York City Police Department, full through retirement, and then went into suburban police management afterwards. My best man is a police officer, so I have a little bit of understanding of the role, of the difficulties and challenges of the police department in interacting with the public, whether they're on the right side or the wrong side of the law. I think in the case of Hooksett, as someone who offered some public opinion or public input earlier, we've been in the news a little more than we'd like for not always the best reasons. I think some of that, I think if we took a good hard look, really may be noise, and the key thing is for our town to move forward to identify what's noise, identify where we can improve, where we're doing very well, and I think we should recognize where we're doing well too, and I don't think we do that enough. So,
thank you, Councilman.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Thank you for stepping up and volunteering for this difficult position, and I think we're fortunate that we've got someone of your caliber and expertise, and I think the other candidate also looks good on paper as well, has had a lot of experience in the town. You're stepping into a very difficult situation. You obviously understand that. My biggest concern is with both candidates is how are you going to ensure a level of objectivity with such strong feelings on both sides of this issue?
Well, I mean, for my own personal situation, and that's just the way I live my life. You know, I'm impartial whether my son is involved or my neighbor's son is involved, or you know, whatever it might be. You know, I don't think I can say any clearer than that. I mean, you know, I've been involved, as you see from my volunteer history. I'm involved in, you know, the Boy Scouts of America. I was as a youth, and you know, the parts of the Scout Law and the Scout Promise are things that I live every day, and I wake up and enjoy living every day. You know, I think I'm a good judge of character, and I think I bring good character to the table. And so, in the end, I mean, looking at any situation, you need to be impartial, you need to be fair, and you need to be, while being fair to the citizens, to the individual that's involved, and to your conscience. And you know, ultimately, it's the conscience, I think, that really makes you do the right thing. You know, they say that you know, integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Well, obviously, you know, there's various roles that you can have where it's much more public, and so, you know, hopefully all of us are living up to that potential, but I think I live that every day, and don't feel I'll be challenged.
Now, you said you reviewed some of the minutes. Are you coming into the situations with some recommendations at this point, or tell me about that?
I wouldn't say recommendations by any means. You know, again, in order to analyze any type of situation, you need to make sure that you've investigated and gathered all of the pertinent data. Minutes can be dry and not, you know, really indicate all of the details of what, and reading minutes for me was really more just to kind of keep up on the activities of the commission. I mean, I would say I've, you know, been paying attention to the minutes, you know, for the year 2011. Prior to that, it was more the news. But you know, I felt it was important that if I was going to, you know, consider putting myself up for consideration, that I be informed and make sure that it was going to be a, you know, that I knew what I was getting into, let's say. And there's been a lot to read through in the minutes, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Somebody else has? In your opinion, what is the role of the police commission in the police department?
I would say, you know, the police commission's responsibility is for oversight. Oversight without overreach, I would say. I mean, ultimately, the police chief and the command staff run the police department, let's say, you know, day-to-day operations. The commission itself, you know, in my opinion, and you know, in researching the role of the commission, you know, we're the citizens' representative, or yeah, I don't presume, but you know, let's say the commission is you know, the citizens' representative, and responsibilities include budgetary responsibility. You know, ultimately, I think the key thing is that while the commission, you know, needs to have oversight and not overreach, that, you know, make sure that, you know, at the same time you have a good solid relationship with the chief and the command staff of the police department, so that, you know, they would not overstep, and but at the same time make sure that what the police department does is the best job that it can do to serve and protect the citizens of Hooksett.
Thank you.
Evelyn, I don't know if Nancy can hear me. Does Nancy have any questions?
Nancy?
I do not have any questions, but Evelyn, could you move me just a little bit further away from the typewriter?
Wait, she hears your typewriter. Oh.
Wait. Color that was Morse code. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Please.
Mr. Scherer, presently we have two other members of the commission, one being Mrs. McHugh, who is a CPA and a longstanding member of the community with many years of experience in volunteering, et cetera. And then the other gentleman is Mr. Carolian, who has law enforcement how do you feel that you would fit in as the third member? And forgive me for saying third member, but
Okay.
how would you feel it to fit in as that slot?
Well,
What do you bring to the table?
I feel I would be very complimentary, bringing my skill set to the table. Obviously, Commissioner Crowley has an extensive police background, and obviously it's important to have at least some level of that understanding on the commission. Commissioner McHugh, it appears to me, and I don't know her personally, but it appears to be very strong in terms of administration. I think that myself bringing my skill set to the table is really as the detail guy, let's say. And again, it doesn't really matter what it is. I approach things sometimes way more detailed than my wife would like me to. But in the end, I think I have a let's say a knack for seeing detail and understanding the bigger picture. And again, the kind of the key thing is that looking at the big picture. The big picture is the future of the town of Hooksett and the service by the police department to the citizens of Hooksett. I don't. But at the same time, the one thing that really can't be overstated is the fact that the commission is a citizen commission. So their interests are varied, their skill set is varied. I think that I would be a good complement to the existing members of the commission in that role.
Thank you. Any other questions? I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the opportunity.
We invite up Mr. Argo.